In this video, we're going to go through some locations of legendary weapons that are going to be useful and attainable early on in Dying Like the Beast. If any of these help you, please leave me a like and the hammer emoji if you don't want to say anything in particular in the comments, just to help me with engagement. And at the end, I'm going to go through managing your legendaries because there's a bit of an issue where we can get additional copies so that you can get better stats because the stats are related to your character level. There is also an issue, as you can see here, I am unable to dismantle these legendary weapons. And we are also unable to sell them, which means if you build up too many, ranged weapons may give you an issue. We can get a legendary pistol right at the beginning of the game. As you can see, this is the initial monastery after you've escaped, and directly to the east, you can see this bridge on the map, denoted by this kind of shaded and unshaded line we see crossing the river. Once we get here, you may have a couple of zombies to clear out. Go ahead and do that. You don't want to be getting harassed whilst you're doing this. There will be one zombie on this side right here, which we'll need to clear out, and then we can begin getting this pistol unlocked. So as you can see, we go ahead, we turn on the generator. Before continuing, make sure you walk down the bridge a little bit so that you can spring the ambush that would otherwise be here just to annoy you, and then we can go on back to where the power generator was so that we can grab the cable. Pick the cable up, and we're going to take that towards the door that is facing us a little bit down the bridge. We will need to pick this open on the way, and then we can plug it in on the left. Once that's done, we need to get ourselves a convoy card. This is pretty easy as we have a soldier dude in here that we just need to pick our way into. Defeat the soldier and loot the card. Now that we have the access card, we can go ahead and open this room where we can find the legendary pistol. To get an early SMG, what you want to do is you want to come to this mountain shelter safe spot you can see on the map right here. This is almost directly to the southeast of the monastery, so pretty easy to get to, and you can see the building that is right close to me, which is right there. Once you've reached this point, it's time for us to head on into this green container, and we need to open up this grate on top. This is going to give us access to the power terminal, so we're going to go ahead, turn on the generator, and then we can grab the power cable. All right, with the power cable in tow, we can now go ahead and leave. We want to go directly across to the building that we were looking at before and plug that in. At this point, we now need to defend ourselves. We have quite a few enemies. If you have some grenades or explosives, this might be a good time to use a few. Go ahead and get one down there. Then the numbers out a little bit. Then the numbers out a little bit. With all of the enemies down, we can now head on inside. You may want to have a few lockpicks for this because we have a hard pick to get through. Once that's done, we can walk on in and get the Neeld Legendary SMG. I'm going to grab a Legendary Axe. You should really rotate this with the Legendary Machete, mostly because they're not reparable. You will be able to come back and re-loot them every couple of hours. So once one's broken, you should come back and get it replaced. That way you can maintain having high damage. You can see that we are just to what looks like the east of this building here. For whatever reason, they chose a weird orientation on the map. But either way, it looks like the east, just to the right of this building that has this horse symbol on it. And the reason we're over here is because we want to climb one of these posts. You can see this post right here has wires on top of it, so that's what we're going to climb. And then run across the cables until we reach the building. At here, we want to carefully edge around so that we can stay on the ledge and then climb onto the balcony. The weapon will be just above us, as you can see. Now we're going to get a legendary melee weapon, which is a machete. You can see that we are at this taxi rank here. Let me zoom out a little bit. Early on in the game, you'll come to the town hall. You want to come across the river here. Now, when you get towards this industrial bridge, you may want to come off the road because there are some higher level enemies there. Come on down to the side. You can see I am stood on the southeastern side of the building here. This is where the ladder is that gets you to the top of the building. So you want to come. There are no enemies, so you can actually get this without doing any fighting, as long as you have some lockpicks. And once we get here, we want to unlock the hard lock. With that done, we walk in and we bang on this until it opens. I believe it's quite a few times, so just stick with it until it eventually opens up for us, revealing the weapon. To get the legendary assault rifle, it's a good idea to make your way over to Farm's Tower here. Note that you'll need to progress the story to be able to access the actual tower itself. But you can see we have this smaller road here, which you'll follow to the more main-looking road. And just down from that road, we have a building. And at the back of the building, we have a breakable box that allows us to crawl inside. From this point, we want to turn on the generator and open up the gate, grab the cable, and then we can head on outside where we want to run along the wall just on the left, as you can see here, where we can plug it into the wall. And then we can drop on down and head into the hatch right here. can move on in and move the cupboard to the side. Pull off the vent. Once we've taken the cover off of the vent, we need to head back up the ladder, where we want to get back up so that we can retrieve the power cable and then head back down the hatch. We can take the cable through the vent and then plug it in. Once that's done, we can head back out of the vent. We will find that all of the other doors are now open. Head on through the door on the left. This is the one that has the scientist-looking dudes in it. And then we can go ahead and open this locker, where we can find the rifle. Grabbing the legendary shotgun might be a little bit dangerous early, mostly because it's in this level 6 zone. Just be aware that if you do have to deal with any enemies, you could be struggling. They're not too dense, so you might get away with it, but obviously I've dealt with them so I can make this a bit easier on myself. If you want to try and get this early, you may follow this road across. As you can see, I've kind of just been all over the place, really. But this is the junction you're looking for. If you want a point of interest, you're looking for the farms tower, and then you're going to head to the northeast. I'm just at the road here, so you guys can see where this gate is. And then you're going to head on through until we get to this back gate here. So if you wanted to avoid a lot of the zombies, you'd go around the outside. And then when you're looking at this gate, you come over to this right-hand side, and we can see that we have the vent that we need to open. Head on inside, where we can activate the generator. With that done, we're going to go ahead and grab the power cable so that we can head on outside and power up the building directly across from us. So we just head forward. You can see we have this power terminal here, which will allow you to head through this door, where we can find the shotgun over at the table in the end. Now that you know where to find your legendary weapons, let's talk a little bit about collecting them, how you can get extras, and maybe how you should manage them as you're going through your adventure. Firstly, as we saw earlier, we are not able to dismantle the ranged weapons currently. Hopefully this changes or gets fixed, and if that's the case, obviously you guys can just ignore everything we're about to talk about. But just note that when you pick them up, they're going to be set to the level that you pick them up at, which, as you can see here, can have drastic effects on the amount of damage that they're able to do. It's worth noting, though, that if you take them to a workbench, you will in fact be able to level them up this way, which is a pretty good alternative considering we are otherwise unable to remove them from our inventory. The only thing we can do with them once they're in your inventory is put them into the stash, as we are unable to dismantle or sell the ranged weapons. This is currently different with the melee weapons, though, which, as you can see, have the opposite problem of being irreparable, but are dismantleable, and as we saw in the menus, are sellable. Because we are able to re-loot these every 30 to 60 minutes, I haven't actually placed like a timer on, but every half an hour to an hour you can go back to where you get them from and you can get a brand new one. So therefore, I think it's best to carry a pair of the legendary weapons. Once one's broken, you can switch to the new one, and then once you're in the area of one of the melee weapons, you can just pick up a new one so that you can keep yourself sustained that way.